Welcome everybody, it's Berzer3 here. It is the 26th of December 2020. I'm just letting you know that what I'm stating here in this video today could possibly change in the future. And I wanted to bring some attention to the copyright things that are going on in Factorio mods right now. And I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. I'm not the best versed when it comes to reading documents and things like that about copyright and all that. So I'm just going to do my best, because I wanted to look at some mods. I found out when I was streaming yesterday that I was breaking copyright infringement laws or whatever by streaming certain mods on my Twitch channel. And that brought me to looking through a list of all the mods on Twitch for Factorio, and then looking at some of their licensing, and I figured, why not share that information with you guys as well? So maybe you can know, maybe bring some attention to the issue, whether you think it is or is not an issue, but I would love to see maybe if this video goes big enough that some of the mod developers and stuff like that see it and would maybe be okay and stating that they don't mind Twitch users streaming their mods, because a lot of them are based off of monetary copyright usage for commercial use. And again, that's to me, I'm not quite sure whether Twitch is classified as commercial use, because yes, we are making money, but we're not making money off of your content, and you're making money off of me streaming your content. So again, I'm not the most technical, and I kind of get the in-betweens of everything, but I just wanted to bring some attention to it. Maybe some of these guys will lean up a little bit and be okay with some of us Twitch streamers streaming their mods. That being said, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to all the people who have made Factorio mods, because whether we are or are not streamers, there's a lot of us out there that play Factorio, and the ones that aren't streaming, and when I'm not streaming and playing Factorio, I very much enjoy playing your mods. So thank you so much for the mods that you have put out there and made so that we can enjoy the game in a more in-depth than the vanilla. You know what I mean? So that being said, let's go take a look and see what we can get done. Alright, so let's take a look here. I am on the Factorio website, and I have gone to the mod portal here. And basically, I was just looking at 1.1, and then I'm looking at big mods. I was interested in streaming Industrial Revolution 2 yesterday, and that's where I sort of ran into this whole debacle. And I noticed from somebody telling me, and I looked up, that you are not allowed, again, to commercially stream, or I'm sorry, you're not allowed to use the Industrial Revolution for commercial use. So that brought me into looking at all the mods that are around. And I only went to big mods because I know those are some of the more game-changing mods. And you'll see here how I have looked to find whether something is breaking copyright infringement or all that. Again, I'm not sure. I'm going to say this a lot. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not technical. I don't quite understand all of it, but I want to help anybody I can. And again, bring maybe some attention to the not issue is the wrong word, but to the thing that's going on here. So with that being started, we'll go over it real quickly. Factorio 2 by Linver. Factorio 2 is a global mod that introduces new energy sources, buildings, ores, technologies, turrets, coverings, fuels, ways of producing science, and a major rebalance of many vanilla features. So that being said, we click on the licensing here, and it brings us to Open Source Initiative General Public License version 3. I am not sure what all this means when it comes down to whether you can or cannot use for commercial use. So that being said, if somebody knows more about this type of document and can better help me and or other people understand it, feel free to let me know. But this is the only stuff I see about commercial use. So that being said, I'm going to say Factorio 2 is not safe for streaming. That's what I'm going to say. Under the frequently asked questions, I also went through here and I saw nothing about streaming mentioned in here. So that is that for Factorio 2. Next up, Industrial Revolution 2 by Deadlock 989. An overhaul mod based on material progression, expanded crafting system, hundreds of sprites and icons, new buildings, research, toys, and mechanics. Here, same thing. I can click on the copy right here, and it says, you are free to share, copy, and redistribute the material in any medium or format. But under the following terms, non-commercial. You cannot use this material for commercial purpose. says here, commercial use is one primarily intended for commercial advantage or monetary compensation. So that's, I'm not sure, again, with Twitch being a gray area, is it okay? Is it not okay? I'm going to say it's not okay for now, unless any of these developers or mod creators explicitly say they're okay with us streaming their stuff. Because a commercial use is one primarily intended for commercial advantage or monetary compensation. I'm not, it's like, it's at a weird gray area. I'm not using their mod specifically to make monetary compensation. I am just trying to stream and have fun, and if I can make a living out of it, that's great. But I'm not just, going to this person's specific mod and saying, this is mine now, and I'm going to make money from it. So with the current application of Industrial Revolution 2, I'm going to say, no, you cannot stream. Under frequently asked questions, can I stream or showcase? Yes, as long as you're not doing it to generate any income. The license prohibits any use of this mod for any commercial purpose. Monetized streaming is very obviously a commercial purpose, no exceptions. So here he explicitly pretty much says, no, you can't stream this. I'm not sure about a charity stream. Say you wanted to do an Industrial Revolution 2 charity stream, then I am not necessarily making the money. It's all donated, so again, I'm not sure how that fits into things. But that being said, Industrial Revolution 2 is a no. Multiplayer trading by Zwir Oxatonic, I'm going to go with. Forces can buy and sell items for credits via buy boxes and sell boxes. Also has land claim, specialization, and early bird technology. Author Luke Perkin, modified by Zwir. Here, when we click on licenses, it brings us to the same thing here. Again, it doesn't say that you cannot use this for commercial use. It says you are free to copy and redistribute the material in any medium or format, adapt, remix, transform, build upon the material for any purpose use, even commercially. So there you go. Let's read that again. Remix, transform, and build upon the material for any purpose, even commercially. So that to me means you can use this for commercial. It doesn't say you can't. And again, back to what I've been saying. Not a lawyer, not sure 100%, but it doesn't say you can't use it commercially. So I am going to give multiplayer trading the go-ahead on my book. You may use that for streaming. In the discussion, I didn't see anything in here about streaming. So good to go, multiplayer trading. Next, Factorio Plus by Fishbus. That's hard to say. Mod that builds upon and tweaks the vanilla experience. This is it says MIT here for license. When I have clicked on all of these ones that say MIT, it brings me up to the open source initiative, the MIT license. It basically, to me, this looks like a template for a license that hasn't been used yet. You can see here, copyright, the year, it's waiting for you to put a year. There's no copyright holder, everything's unknown. It's all just the generic license text that didn't get filled out. So I don't know what that all means, but it looks like there has been no license really created for Factorio Plus. It doesn't say anywhere here that you are not allowed to stream it. And under the frequently asked questions, I also do not see anything about about streaming. So I'm going to say Factorio Plus is a good, and you may stream that on your Twitch channel. Fantario by Faceless GER. This mod is a challenge featuring scrap recycling and pre-electric burner era. Again, we open up the licensing here, same kind of thing, non-commercial use. You may not use this material for commercial purposes, as we've been seeing with a few of these. So that's going to be, right off the bat, Fantario, no, not something you can stream. Next up, 248K mods by Prelay Zero. Advance through 4 stages of tech. Start with simple machines and work your way through nuclear fission and fusion up to black and white holes. In order to tame the 248K element, the mod is designed to be playable in already existing worlds since it changes nothing on world generation or vanilla itself. Does not include a Factorio in-game wiki. Licenses, same thing we've been clicking on, brings us to lesser general public version. This one I've noticed is different than if we go back to what we saw earlier for Crashtorio, which was general public license. This is a lesser general public license, and it looks, again, very wordy to me. I don't know about commercial. I can't spell commercial. Oh, there's nothing in here about commercial, so I'm not sure. If you want to be on the safe side, I'm going to say no, you cannot stream it. I haven't seen anything in the descriptions here about streaming, and I have not seen anything in the descriptions here for his frequently asked questions about streaming. So I'm going to say it doesn't say you can't stream it, but I'm not 100% sure what this license means, so I'm going to be on the safe side and say no. 248K mods is not something you're allowed to stream. Random Factorio Things by John the Cooling Fan. New things that follow ideas of vanilla game. On here, it's this generic MIT license again that just brings us up to a blank template of nothingness, really. So again, I'm not quite sure what that all means, but it doesn't say anywhere in here that you are not allowed to stream it under any of the main features or anything that he puts in the information. And under the discussions, I see nothing about streaming. So I'm going to say it doesn't say you can't stream it, so I'm going to give it a go for it, you know? You take that with a grain of salt. I would feel okay streaming it because it doesn't say you can't, and I hate to use that as my good go-to, but that's what I'm going to say. AIX Matter by Alien X. During your exploration of the planet, you stumble across a new type of fluid. You find that when you inject this fluid with other materials, it becomes empowered. AIX Matter is the base of this mod. Use it to better your base and automation. Brings us to that same license, that MIT, that just blank template license. And here, I don't see anywhere saying that you cannot stream it. There's no frequently asked questions, and under the discussions, I do not see anything here about streaming as well. So I'm gonna go with my same thing. It doesn't say you can. It doesn't say you can't. So it's got my go ahead for I would stream this. Doesn't say I can't. 5dims mods. This is part of a core library, it looks like. It's the core library and settings of 5dim mods required for any other module. So this is something you would use if you were going to get the rest of his pack or something like that. Usually is how these cores and stuff work. In here, the license, again, non-commercial. You may not use this commercial purpose. So right there, we don't even have to look anywhere else. 5dims mods, no. You're not allowed to stream it. Next on the list, Factorio. Factorio by Panther X adds decorative elements to beautify your factory. Currently includes colored signals, wooden, chain link, stone, and concrete walls, wooden floorboards, gravel, and concrete stiles. Supported languages: English, German, French, Spanish, Korean, Russian, Portuguese, Brazilian, Hungarian, Chinese, Polish, Czech, and Italian. This one had me a little different. This license brings us to the general public license that we've seen a few times. But if we close out of that, it says here, the license from the GLP brings us up to General Public Licenses version 3.0, and right here, permissions, commercial use. So that's going to make me think. Factorio is yes, you are allowed to use it for commercial use, you are allowed to use it for streaming, which kind of makes me think that these general public licenses are okay for streaming just based on the fact that that says it's okay for streaming. That's not like an official way to read into things, but that's, you know, what I was kind of thinking when I read through it. So keep that like that. Next up, Mobile Factory by Mugi Waxar. A mod with many features where you can make Mobile Factory, build your base inside, and travel around the world. The mod contains a way to transfer items remotely, some nice ways to mine ore or extract fluid, some new chemical elements, data storage of items, and much more. On here, it has that same generic blank MIT licensing. I scrolled through earlier and I saw nothing in here about streaming. And when I went under the frequently asked questions, I see nothing here about streaming. I didn't go through the discussions because there's 131 of them, so that one I'm not 100% sure on. So I'm going to give the Mugi X Waxer Mobile Factory a it doesn't say you can't, so go for it, right? That's going to be my answer to that one. Syngistics by Sin Ropa. Total conversion replacing crafting and research with randomized trade routes. Disable all other mods as only base is supported. It's the best to disable map features you don't want in your way. You should not play with biters, at least you were warned. Same generic license here. It's the blank MIT license. It's that blank template again. I've scrolled through. I see nothing in here about streaming. There's no frequently asked questions. And the discussion doesn't say anything about it. So, Syngistics by Sinropa doesn't say you can't. I'm going to say go for it. Stream it away. More Science. Science Cost Tweaker Extension by Lovely Santa. This also is in tandem with, I believe, More Science by Lovely Santa. It seems like there are some sort of pack together that go together. So, same thing. That general public license version 3. I'm not 100% sure what that all means, but I'm going to say probably not. But again, referring back to what I did earlier, the Factorio license has the same general public license here, but has a separate license that says commercial use is fine, which makes me think that these general public license versions are fine as well. So as far as More Science and More Science by Lovely Santa, I'm going to give it an I'm not sure. I think you can, but if you want to stay safe, no. We'll just keep it at that. Next on our list, Factorio Plus Plus by Kintharo. For more content in Factorio, description, language in English and German. Here has that blank MIT template license that I'm not sure what quite means. I've looked through here and have seen nothing through about streaming or commercial use, and under the frequently asked questions I see nothing about streaming or commercial use. So I'm going to say it doesn't say you can't. Go for it. Cursed Upgrade Buildings by L0771. Blood Handling, upgradable buildings, mining drill, assembly machine, furnace, lab, fisher, turret, wall, energy generator, headquarters, some new mechanics, some auto attack base. Here on this licensing, non-commercial use. So I'm going to go ahead right there and say that Cursed Upgradable Buildings is not stream safe. Doesn't mention streaming anywhere in the information. I didn't go through the 41 discussion threads, but it says in the commercial license that you are not allowed to, or it says in the license that you are not allowed to use it for commercial purpose. So I'm going to give that a no. Team Competition by M. Ferrari. This mod provides a multiplayer team competition gameplay style on 14 different scenarios. Admins have lots of options to set the game mode and other things like team management, names, colors, diplomacy, fighter attack wave intervals, and etc. You can also play solo or cooperative if you want, now with a new world market system. When we open up the license mod here, brings us to the same one, non-commercial use. You may not use this material for commercial purpose. I see nowhere in any of the information about streaming, and I see nowhere in the discussion about streaming either. So I'm going to say that that is a no. Team competition is not something you are allowed to stream. Factorissimo 2 by Magma McFry. Factorissimo adds factory buildings to the factory. Place them down, walk in, build your factories inside. Has that general blank MIT license that we keep seeing on a lot of these. Doesn't say anything here about streaming, and it doesn't say anything in the frequently asked questions about streaming. So I am going to give that a go ahead, that it doesn't say you can't. Factorissimo 2, good for streaming. Warptorio 2 by Pyrofire. Factorio, but you build your factory in a restricted space that teleports yourself, the platform, and everything on it to a new and uncharted planet in an unknown corner of space, time, and the universe while constantly under attack from enemies. This mod increases the difficulty of Factorio by making construction harder and making biters a more significant threat, resulting in a unique experience of Factorioing in a tight space and under pressure, almost like a tower defense game. This has a Pyrofire's Factorio mod license. Whoop. This is Warptorio 2. So this is Warptorio. Warptorio 2, and this is Warptorio 2. I somehow managed to open it twice. Oh, I'm sorry, no. The mod license brings you here to his discussion thread. Basically, please don't clone, re-upload. If you're unable to do so, blah, blah, blah. Multiple mods of same precedence, examples. If you're unsure, contact me. That is all. So I could possibly contact him, and if you're thinking that I should, I will. But under here, it doesn't say that you can, and it does say transform and build upon the material for any purpose, even commercially. So I'm going to give Pyrofire's Warptorio 2 a thumbs up, good to go in stream. So there we are. That one was a little confusing because opening of the mod license to his discussion thread threw me aloof there. I wasn't ready for that, so my mistakes, my apologies. Warptorio 2 by Pyrofire, yes, good for streaming. Pyrofire's Planetorio, same thing. Planetorio is a Warptorio 2, but the planet thing is a standalone library that can be used by anyone to make and work with planets, surface templates, and simple automation and management of surface-specific events. Ugh. EG only raised if an entity is built on that planet surface and chunk generation. So this seems like it is just made pretty much for Warptorio 2 to mod it. I've never played Warptorio 2, so I can't give you much for it. But it has his same mod license, which brings us back to you can build upon the material for any purpose, even commercially. So Planetorio by Pyrofire, thumbs up, good for streaming. Spaceblock, Pyrofire, same thing. C block, but without the C, and you make a rocket by duplicating resources instead of from water. Build your own space station, satellite, orbital rocket launch pad, factory thing. Pyrofire's Factorio mod license, same one. Build upon the material for any purpose, even commercially. Gives my thumbs up, good for streaming. FMRX by FMRX. FMRX mod add tanks, drills, tech, turrets, modules, roboports, and others to make your life in Factorio more interesting. Has that generic blank MIT license that we keep seeing. Nothing in the information regarding streaming. And I don't see anything in the frequently asked questions about streaming. And the discussion has nothing written about streaming. So I am going to give FMRX by FMRX a doesn't say you can't, good to go for streaming. Baron Factions by Wasmu. Multiplayer mod that creates teams that dedicated to each kind of power source in Factorio. Not 100% sure what that means, but when we open up the licensing, it brings us to General Public License version 3, which, as we've said before, from Dectorio has that same General Public License version 3 that has the commercial use permission check, which means it's good to go, which I think then wants to make me say that Baron Factions is good to go for commercial streaming, but I'm not the best at reading through all this document to completely understand what it means. I'm just referencing off of Dectorio's because it has the same looking General Public License version 3, but has a separate license that says commercial use is good to go. So that's what makes me think General Public License version 3 is good for streaming. Doesn't say anything in here about streaming. The discussion board doesn't have anything about streaming, so I'm going to give it the I think you can. So, but if you're not sure, no, but I'm going to go with good to go for streaming, probably. Next up, these are Baron mold and casts. These are just add-on mods for Baron's, Baron Factions. These are just other Baron mods for intermediate recipes. Now require fixtures to be produced and produce fixtures when used. Many little things. Intermediate recipes are replaced with smaller components, and products require many immediate components. Larger machines also provide to accommodate the increased number of inputs. Baron 2 at a time. Machines are smaller and can only combine 2 ingredients at once, resulting in intermediate products and additional process steps. So that's going to make me think these all have the blank MIT license template that we keep seeing. But since it is made by Wasmu and they are all, I'm thinking, part of the Baron Factions mod or part of his mod group, that same kind of, it doesn't really say you can't. And according to my license to referring to another license that says you can use it, I'm going to say, I think you can. Going to give it the, I think you can. You'd probably be all right to stream it. So, Baron 2 at a time, Baron Many Little Things, and Baron Molds and Cast by Wasmu also are all in that I think you can. Ribbon Maze, fix for 1.1 by KJackX. This is a fix for the port of the Factorio Ribbon Maze for 1.1. This is the mod itself by H8UL. I'm not sure how to pronounce. The maze itself is destined to be automated, so I am going to look at the license here. It's that blank MIT license that we keep seeing. I see nothing in the information here about streaming. Frequently asked questions. Don't see anything in here about streaming. I didn't go through all the 40 discussion threads, but the quick look, I didn't see anything in there. So I'm going to give the Ribbon Maze by H8UL the, doesn't say you can't, so I think it's good for streaming. Uoki Tech Tree by Pepe, I believe is how you say that. Reduce information overload of using Uoki's mods by unlocking the Uoki Industry and Engines add-on optional through the tech tree. I believe there is a series of Uoki mods here. Uoki Industries, additional alternate power generations, MF. I hate acronyms. Agriculture in a different way. This has this license, Creative Commons. This has the blank MIT one. And this is the Uoki Industries by Uoki Tani. That's by somebody, or I'm sorry, that's by the same person. Adds more content like generators, resources, transformations, machinery, turrets. Has that same CC license, which brings us to non-commercial. So it makes me think that Uoki and all mods created by Uoki, at least these two, the Uoki Industries and the Uoki Tani, Uoki Industries and the Uoki Industries Engines add-ons both have that CC Creative Commons license, while Uoki Tech Tree has the blank MIT one. So I'm going to say probably can't because they're all made by Uoki. Or this is made by Pepe. Well, these are made by Uoki. So I'm going to say probably not, but not 100% sure for the Uoki Tech Tree. But the Uoki Industries both have the you may not use for commercial use. So Uoki Industries and Uoki Industries Engines add-on by Uoki Tani, I'm going to say no. While the Uoki Tech Tree by Pepe, I'm going to think is no, just because it's based off of Uoki himself. But this one doesn't have the license that the others two do, so I'm not quite sure. Brings us to AAI Programmable Structures by Urandel. Adds scanning and control structures based on other mods installed. Includes a tile scanner by default that can the contents of tiles. I read that right, yeah? Includes a tile scanner by default that can the contents of tiles. I think it's meant to say that can scan the contents of tiles. Can scan and place zones with AAI Zones mod. Can scan and control vehicles and their data with AAI Programmable Vehicle mods. Not 100% sure what all that means, but the limited distribution only license brings us to the Google Doc here. Commercial use? No. But it does say here you are not allowed to make money off of this mod or any other contained assets. You are allowed to feature this mod in other media such as Twitch or YouTube. It would be nice if you mentioned Urandale's Patreon. I will try to put a link to that below with this mod when featuring this mod, but this is not a requirement. So this one gives me a mixed bag, and this is kind of why I sort of made this whole video. Because commercial use, no, but you are allowed to feature it on Twitch and YouTube, which has kind of been the basis of me making this video. People like me and other streamers that I believe are out there that would love to stream all these mods that we've just listed, but they are all say no commercial use. Some of them explicitly have said no using on Twitch for monetized value, but this one says you can feature it on Twitch or YouTube, so you are good to go on AAI Programmable Structures. He just asks, Urandel asks if you would properly link his Patreon to the description or to the YouTube channel or whatever platform you are using to stream it. So Urandale's AAI Programmable Structures has the yes, good to go for streaming. Just be nice and mention his Patreon. Hardcorio SC2 by Marauder, maybe that's it. Version 2612, 2017. Remake of SDX3's Hardcorio SC2. Hardcorio SC2 turns Factorio into a hardcore survival game by completely replacing the enemy's combat mechanics and added life support requirements. Whew, mouthful. Same generic blank template MIT license that we keep seeing. I see nothing in the information about streaming. Yep. I went through this earlier and I didn't see anything. Just double checking myself. Didn't go through the 61 discussion threads, but I semi-scrolled through and didn't see anything. But again, has that blank license. Doesn't say you can't. I'm going to give Hardcorio SC2 by Marauder a... Doesn't say you can't. Good to go for streaming, probably. Next up, we looked at Bob's Function Library mod by Bobbing About. I've played Bob's mods before, so I just picked one of his mods, assuming that all his licenses are going to be the same. And if you download the mod pack for Bob's, you'll probably have the same licensing. his copyright Copyright redistribution, no editing brings us to his Factorio forum post. No commercial use. You are not allowed to make money off my work. Brings me back to what I was talking about before of what if you did a charity stream? Not really making money, you're donating money kind of thing. No modification. Although I can't stop you from looking at my code. You're not allowed to distribute anything altered or derived from my code without express permission first. Distribution. You are not allowed to redistribute my mod as is. This includes being repackaged as part of a mod pack. Private use. I am not imposing any limitations on private use. If you want to modify my work or create your own using parts of mine, you are free to do so as long as the altered or derived work does not become accessible to the public. So if you like his mods and you want to tweak some of the things, you're free to do so on your own. Just don't take that, redistribute it, sell it as your own, post it out there and say you made it. But as far as streaming any of Bob's mods, the no commercial use makes me think, no, not good for streaming. Let's just quick look through here to make sure. Doesn't say anything about Twitch, doesn't say anything about streaming, doesn't say anything about YouTube. Yep, Bob's mods, no. No, not good for streaming. Next up, Angel's mods by Arc666 Angel. Angel has a bunch of mobs just like Bob's does. This one is just the refining ore mod that I grabbed to look at immediately because I just went to his profile, found one of his mods. Here's a list of all of his other mods, and there's probably a mod pack for doing it. Doesn't say anything in here about streaming that I saw, unless I missed something. I didn't look through the discussions, but when we click on his Creative Commons licenses, no, non-commercial. You may not use this material for commercial purposes. So there it is, Angel's Refining. I'm going to say, no, not good for streaming. Last but not least, I looked up Pyanodon, same thing as Bob and Angel's. I just found Pyanodon's, one of his. He's got a whole pack and a whole bunch of things that change, but all the licenses seem to be the same for Pyanodon's. Creative Commons, no, non-commercial. You may not use this material for commercial purpose. So that brings us to the end of this list of those Angels, Bobs, and Pyanodons, which I looked up independently, and all the mods that I saw on the 1.1 big mods list. What I'm hoping to see is possibly, some people can maybe read some of that code of some of these general lesser licenses and general public licenses to let me know if they are or are not good for streaming, or if enough people see things that some of these creators of these mods would be okay being a little more explicit with saying whether they are or are not okay with people streaming their mods on Twitch or YouTube or whatever platform they choose to do so. Because me personally, I love Factorio 2, I love Industrial Revolution. I'd love to get on there and stream, and I probably have streamed some of these before, not realizing I was breaking copyright infringement law, whatever the words are. So that's where I'm ending this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Comments below. I will try to put links to all of these mods below, and if you're not sure how to get to them, just go to Factorio website, and then you can click here on the top to the mod portal, and that is going to bring you to where you can get all the mods and choose what version you are in. I went to 1.1 big mods, and that's where I was getting all my mod list from. So again, thank you for watching. Check the links below, comments on what you think and don't think. Maybe we can bring some attention that some of these mod developers would be okay with us streaming their content on our platforms, YouTube, Twitch, etc. Other than that, thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to everybody who created these mods, because whether we are streaming or not streaming, I'm sure all of us enjoy playing them offline on our private, personal time. Have a good one.